Mike Jackson here from Signcraft Magazine online. Hey, today I'm going to show you how to use the Perspective Crop tool that's been in Photoshop for quite a few years now. I'm going to work on a couple of old ghost signs I've taken photos around here. And the Perspective Crop tool is mixed in with all the crop tools which are in this menu here. And if you don't see it, just click on it, hold down, and you'll see the crop tool, perspective crop, slice tools, and a couple special tools. So anyway, the one I want is Perspective Crop tool for this project. And so you can see that I was standing a little bit off center when I shot this shot. Actually sitting in a car, took it with a telephoto lens. And so it's not square, you know. It doesn't take much to make it square. So let's try that. So use a Perspective Crop tool, and I usually start in one of the corners and just click and drag. Doesn't matter where you go. And then there's little open handles on the corners, and you set those corner handles in the corner of the signs. And it could be buildings too, it doesn't have to be a sign. And so you know, you go in, and if you really want to be precise, you can zoom in with your mouse. I'm using the scroll mouse here, and I hold down the space bar and I can slide over, so I can be as precise as I need to be or want to be. And so now I'll unzoom, and so basically it's ready to go. And if all I wanted to do is crop it just to the sign borders, and then I'll have to hit enter, and it would do that. Of course, this was top borders kind of covered up, so I'm going to hit Control Z or Command Z. That's using shortcut commands to make the life a lot faster. So I'm going to do the very same thing, Perspective Crop, and I'll put it in the corner of that same place and do those same things again. Now I'm going to show you how to use some extra borders and parts around the sign include with it. I'll just make that quick selection. Okay, if you hold your mouse along the edge of the grid and drag out, you can see that it's going to add to the selection. I'll drag out to the side of the cedar there, and then I'll do the very same thing on the bottom. It goes to up and down arrows, and then I'll do the same thing on the top. And since there's no cedar up above, I just guessing about the size. Okay, and then hit enter or return, depends on which computer you're on, and basically there it is. Let's call it good. So I'll try one that's a little different project. For this one, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to use the same tool. It's just a kind of a special way of doing this, and all I'm doing is looking for something that's rectangular or square, whatever you want to call it, and I'm lining it up with these corners. I'm going to unzoom using the mouse, and then go up and go out as far as I want to go, and same way on on the other side, and down. And then when I hit enter, it looks like I was standing in a boom truck. And if for some reason, you know, I want to crop it a little bit tighter on the left hand side, give it a little more airspace on the right, I go selection using the marquee selection, that's M, and then I go to image crop. Okay, we'll call that good. Okay, now I'll do one more. It's a little bit tougher, and this is another ghost sign down in southern Wyoming. This project, I'm going to do a little extra cropping on it. I'll do the very same thing we did before. In this case, I'm going to start right here on the bottom post, drag up, and I'm going to go right down the center line of the thing. I'm going to make it a little bigger. You can see it. So I'm going down the center line of that tapered post, and then I'll do the same thing over here, and scroll down. And here I'm just going to estimate more or less where the perspective would be on that post, kind of following the lines of the building there. And same thing as before, I use the side bearings with the arrows. Drag out. Got a WordPress alert there. Okay, so I'm going to call that good. We'll hit in return. Now you're going to get a 2-for-1 for the rest of here. There's a couple problems. The obvious one is that big thing in the corner. So I'm going to go over to the magic wand tool. I think it's W. Yeah. Select on it, And now we've got these new features in Photoshop. It's called Content Aware Fill. And so I go to Edit, Fill, Fill, and there's multiple choices in here, you can see, but the one I want is Content Aware. Say OK, and for this project, bang, there it is. Now the second part, I'm going to go Control D to deselect that. It looks like you got distorted in the process of doing all that, and so all you got to do on this is I would go Control A, that selects all, and then I'll go Command T or Control T, and that brings up the free transform. So to make this work, all I have to do is hold the Command key down or Control key on a PC, and just squeeze it until it looks about proportional to the original sign. Hit Return or Enter, and that sets all that information. And then while it's still selected, I'm going to go back up under Image, Crop, and call it good. So that's pretty much, you just step and repeat. You do the same thing over and over. You get to where you understand what's going on, and you can get pretty fast at it. Another good time to use this is, let's say you take a photo off perpendicular on purpose, and that would be like when you're trying to take a picture of a glass sign, and you're standing. If you're standing straight in front of it, perpendicular, your reflection is going to be in it. So the idea here is to purposefully get out of the center and take the shot, and then square it up using these perspective crop tools. You get the idea after a while, and you'll put some creative uses for it. This is Mike Jackson up in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and this is for Signcraft.